Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Birth Month. Today we're looking at the 1996 non-Disney film, The Paper Brigade. Yeah, I don't know what people are smoking because almost every review I've seen called a Disney movie. It's not a Disney movie. It was produced by Leuciada Film Corporation. Lasadia Film Corporation? I don't know. It's not associated with Disney in any way, shape, or forms. Shape or form, excuse me. It says parts of the film were shot in Salt Lake City, Utah. The film was produced by the Utah-based company Lusadia Film Corporation and was released on video February 5th, 1997. It was frequently aired on HBO and the Disney Channel. But it is not, by any means, a Disney film. But as someone who has reviewed a non-Disney film for December, which is supposed to be based on Disney, I'm talking about The Punks. United we stand. The Punks. Divided we fall. Yeah, protecting the underdog. That was Columbia Pictures, but it aired on the Disney Channel, so I counted it. And I almost counted this. I almost did this for December in 2025, but I decided, hey, why not? I didn't find anything Disney connected to it at all, other than it aired on Disney Channel. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just save it for Birth Month, and I'll finally do it. It's on YouTube to watch for free, and the VHS rip I watched off of YouTube was from HBO. I know because it starts with coming previews for the movies. Shit. Let's see. I have the sound off. So if I can find it. I can. One Fine Day with George Clooney and Michelle Pfeiffer was one of them. The other one was about what's his face in the. It's not Kevin Kline. It's I can't remember his name. The Paper Brigade with Kyle Howard and Robert Englund. Yes, Robert Englund. That Robert Englund is in this. Yeah, this is One Fine Day. So let's skip through this here. George Clooney, Michelle Pfeiffer. It's not TV. It's HBO. Oh yeah, some dude was messing with the cable. Is this the? No, now we're getting to. Okay, what was the other movie though? I can't think of his name. Oh, Larry Miller is in this movie. Greg Kinnear. That's his name. Greg Kinnear on a newspaper. What is it called? Dear God. November 22nd on HBO. Mark your calendars, people. But, yeah, ads for those two movies popped up. And then the movie started. So, but yeah, it was nice to go back to 1997 HBO or whatever it was. Yeah. So, I watched this in school. The first time we watched it. A teacher we had actually knew Kyle Howard. I don't remember how, but you know, my boy Kyle Howard that I mentioned before, he was in the Drew Carey Show. He was in most recent review for Orange County. He was in Orange County. What else was he in? Anything else? Filmography, film. House Arrest, which was one of those 90s movies I haven't yet seen, but I feel like I should. Baby Geniuses. He was the older brother, or was he a voice? Was he a voice in Baby Geniuses? Eloise. Joy Hughes was a sly and wit. I don't see him. Kyle Howard is Dickie Icepick. Oh, the teenage guru of the... Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's the... I remember now. Icepick. That... I remember now. Yeah, he was the teenage brother. Orange County. That's right, he was Holiday in Handcuffs. I also reviewed that. Jesus. So he's been in a lot. In the Drew Carey Show, Chicago Home Improvement. Yeah, he's in the Love Boat, The Next Generation, or whatever it said. But, yeah. Also, inexplicably, Travis Wester is in this movie. Travis Wester was in a little movie called Eurotrip, which I'll be talking about later this month. And he's the most un-Travis Wester-looking Travis Wester I've ever seen. To my surprise, he plays the bully. And I went, that, because it just says Chad. So it's Chad. And I'm like, he's the bully. He's got a ponytail and, really? And of course, Chauncey Leopardi, which immediately makes this a knockoff. I always felt like this was sort of a knockoff of The Sandlot. That's what it feels like. I mean, look at, he plays Charlie Parker. And he's pretty much Squints, but without the glasses. He's got a backwards hat, everything. Then there's a character named Fish. Henry, Gus, Luke, Milkman, and I think the dad, Andrew, is the brother. Who's the dad? Mr. Wheeler. Michael Flynn is Mr. Wheeler. I swear, let me search here quick. I swear he's the bad guy in Halloween Town 3. Or Halloween Town High. Try to type in Halloween Town, and it first one it gives me is Return to Halloween Town. Okay. Bring you down to the... Why it takes so... Edgar Dalloway is his character's name. Michael Flynn. Yep, that's him. His hair is still... It's less white, but it's still, So, it's not based on a book, even though I thought it was. It's also known as Gunther and the Paper Brigade. But, yeah, and it has that very 90s movie trope of family moves to another place. How many episodes of Goosebumps or even Are You Afraid of the Dark has someone moving somewhere? It was a trope in the 90s, and it's here too. So, Gunther Wheeler, which you should never have a first and last name that ends with an R, because it just sounds weird, but Gunther Wheeler and his family, his brother Andrew, his mom and dad, they're moving from New York City to the quiet suburb of just another Pleasant Valley Sunday. Pleasant Valley. Another Pleasant Valleys. Which reminds me of Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, because that's what Pete sang whenever he thought he was going to get lucky, or he was having a good day. He did. But, yes. And he, of course, he's the teenage bad boy, or whatever, teenage rebel of the 90s that doesn't like moving to a new place. It's a stick in the mud. I do like, though, he's in the pool. Like, the dad's trying to teach him how to clean the pool. And I'm like, my question is, why is it his responsibility? Like, okay. So here's the situation. I understand that parents will have their kids do chores. I get that. But in no way, shape, or form should be your kid's job to clean the fucking pool. Do it yourself, you lazy ass parents. You teach him, you gotta make sure you clean this, make sure you do that, this and that. I'm like, no, just do it yourself. Why should he have to do that? I know he wants him to take some responsibility, but still. No, cleaning the pool is not and should not ever be one of your children's chores. Take out the garbage, clean your room, set the table, maybe help put groceries away, which is not really a chore, but you know what I mean. And maybe every once in a while sweep or mop the floor if a parent has to work late or something, but it should never be cleaning the pool. That's stupid. Yeah, so he decides he's gonna go to the mall and check it out because it's the 90s and we got a mall, baby. And he brings his brother with because his brother has money. And there we meet the worst actor in this movie. I'm sorry. I don't know how she got this job, and I apologize to the actress Kylie Cochran, but she is no good. She no good. She's in other things, but she doesn't have much. Apparently she's in the Crow Salvation. Is she one of the girls where he's like, "You're up"? Is that one of the girls? You don't need to scroll down. Her name. Kylie Cochran. Tracy. I don't know who Tracy is. I assume it's the woman that, what's his name? Dutton, right? Dutton the one? It's gonna, or is it Ehrlich? The one that's about to assault her. I'm guessing, sexual crazed police detective is that one. That's Dale Midkiff? Really? I assume she's the woman that's driving? Because I think the other one's a brunette. I guess. Anyway. We're still in. And I'm trying to figure out where I know her from. And it's not this movie. And I realized. Goosebumps. I mentioned that earlier. Goosebumps. She is in the More Monster Blood episode. When they're on the plane. It's her. Mm-hmm. So, while joining the neighborhood, he is approached by this group of kids they call the Nerd Patrol. Not really, but Charlie Parker and the local paper boys. And Charlie was like, "Hey, you should do a paper route." He's like, "Nah." So, because Leonard is going to be gone for the summer, so he wants to take. Which, it's weird because they say summer, so how long does this go? Because at the end, like, oh, the concert is September 15th or whatever, and I'm like, you still treating it like it's summer? But Allison, why is every love interest Allison? Because you just think of Hocus Pocus. Allison, kiss me, I'm Allison. Ooh. And of course, he has a hot for her. But she also has, it's not really her boyfriend, the local bully, Chad, and his pals, Luke and Wiley. Yes. Who I will henceforth be referring to as his butt buddies. And that's what I said, when I saw that it was Travis Wester. Wester? I don't remember the goddamn name. Wester. I'm like, nah, he's the bully? Really? And they make him look the most grunge. Kind of, it's 96. This is that era. So yeah, so this is where his need for money comes in. Because they're trying to sell the 2 tickets to a famous made-up band from the movie. And knowing that he and Allison both like said band, he wants to buy it. But they say, well, Chad says, you know what, it's $150 for both tickets. Which is actually cheap when it comes to tickets. That means they are $75 a piece. Am I wrong about that? I think I'm wrong. So split it 50 into 25, and you have the 100. split it into 50. That's 75. I was right. $75 a piece. Not bad for tickets. You know. I would say depending on seating. Depending on the seating. But, yeah. So this says that his dad agrees to give him money but changes his mind after he finds that Gunther's irresponsible and damages the pool. But I don't remember the damage the pool part. This part was cut out. I just where he's like, okay, I'll pay it for you. And then the next scene he's talking to his brother about money. And I'm like, so with nowhere left to go, he decides to become a paperboy, which they do have a scene where Charlie breaks into his house and put a radio, a walkie-talkie. And why do movies always do walkie-talkies wrong? Because Gunther's in his room and he hears, "Hey Gunther, it's Charlie." That's not how they work. Because do you know what a walkie-talkie sounds like when you're not pushing the button? So when Gunther went to his room, he would hear before Charlie would talk, unless Charlie is standing there holding the button the whole time, which would drain the battery on both walkie-talkies. Because I grew up with walkie-talkies. I had walkie-talkies. My brother had walkie-talkies. We had walkie-talkies in the house. And if no one was talking on it or holding the button down, it would go. I don't know why movies and TV shows always get walkie-talkies wrong. You can't just have a walkie-talkie sitting there. And the other side is holding the button down. So unless Charlie has duct taped his button down, there should be noise coming out of it. Walkie-talkie ran over. Anyway, so he joins, and Leonard, who he met before, had left him a note that told him all the important things he needed to know. So, of course, what does he do? Yep, because we need wacky shenanigans. So, on his first day on the route, not en route, there are bratty kids pulling pranks, throwing tomatoes and other vegetables, and what? I don't know if they do the pea soup to him here, because I was watching this morning when I was waking up, but I know they do the pea soup later to Chad and his goons. So, his butt buddies. Excuse me. Yeah. And a dog, a big dog that likes to jump the fence and runs after him. So Gunther then decides to cut through a backyard, which he's told by the milkman not to do. Back when milkmen were still a thing. That belongs to crazy old man Cooper. Not to be confused with the dog of the same name. A former military man who has a habit of attacking his intruders. So Cooper attacks Gunther with a paintball gun and a herd of geese on him. Yeah. And he's ready to quit until he finds out that his last, wouldn't you know it, his last delivery person, the person he has to deliver to last is Allison. Oh, so wouldn't you know it, now he wants to keep going, right? And he gets the tickets from Chad, even though Chad then is like, hey, I need the money. So, okay, so here's the thing. And this, I don't think, rarely if ever even happens in real life. Why would Chad give him the tickets? He hasn't paid him yet. That's not how it works, unless he had some sort of collateral, which he did not. Why would Chad give him the tickets if he hadn't paid for them yet? But he's got the tickets. He hasn't paid for them yet because he pays them later. Which he chalked up the interest to $175. So an extra $25. He's like, well, I added interest. And I'm like, okay. But then he doesn't add any more interest. At the end, he pays him $175. And I'm like, shouldn't there have been more interest if he took so long to get it back to him? And then, because at this point, he's got a lot of money and he's paying off get the other two money. So, yeah. And this is where we get to the heartwarming part that I like. So he asked Allison out to the... Not yet. We'll get to it. He asked Allison out to the concert. She says, yes, pretty boy. And that's not what she says. And so he goes on his route. Route. I say route. Say it all you want. Route, read, whatever. No one says read. He finds that one of his customers hasn't picked up their papers. So, as he goes up to knock on the door to inform them, Ida Hansen, her name, Mrs. Hansen, I'll be known, an elderly woman. Apparently, she likes baseball. Ray, let me tell you about baseball. Not that baseball. Get Kevin Costner out of here. But because she's all old and shit, I should say that. She's all old and stuff. That's not better. She's unable to walk out and get her papers. Apparently, Leonard had it set up where he would put it in the paper slot, the mail slot. So, and she gives him a cookie. It's hard for her to check the lawn, and Leonard always dropped it in the mail slot, so... And Gunther says she'll put it in there from now on. This is when... So he hasn't paid him yet. They demand payment for the tickets as he's leaving. And they force him off the road. He crashes into a swimming pool. So apparently they make their most of the money from tips rather than just the money from the payments. Because I assumed that the payments would go to the newspaper company, right? So they would, I guess, like tips. It's like waitress, right? The waitress or the waiters or servers, whatever you want to call them, they live off the tips. Wherein, like, the money they get goes directly to the cash register and goes to the people who own the diner or the restaurant or something. Where tips, that's what goes to the waitresses and the waiters and the servers or whatever. Just like that. So Gunther decides that, he has to improve his service to get better money. Yes, he comes up with a plan to get around his obstacles. He tricks the Unchained Dog with food and outsmarts the Treehouse Kids. And there's always a customer that's trying to stiff him on the payment. I love how he sneaks into his car. Hey! No, you haven't paid in a long time. That's a lot of money you owe. I like that. He even goes what I want with old man Cooper and wins. Earning Cooper's respect. Right? And this is where we get the title drop. What are you with? What unit are you with, soldier? The Paper Brigade. Which is better than the Schultz Brigade. Colonel Hogan, there is no Schultz Brigade. If you get that reference, you're old. I see nothing. I was never here. I did not even get out of bed this morning. So yeah, now he's got Cooper on his side. So yeah, Robert Englund is really good in the role, and gives him permission to pass through the yard. So he's got that, which reminds me of, and this reminds me of Dreamy Little Dream. You can walk through here anytime you want. And then he's doing pretty good now. He gets all the tips, which unfortunately earns the ire of Chad, once realizing, hey, if he can make all that money, so can I. So, and this is where everything kind of goes downhill, but I don't hate it. The bullies show up, and I have an issue with this, with a part of this, and not only, they show up and say, we're going to take over the route now, we're going to make the money. Okay. But, like, they technically work for the paper company, so don't you have to call them and say, hey, we're taking over? Would they let them do that? I don't know. But they talking. So here's the part that I know some people would disagree, but when they tell Gunther to give him the papers, he does, and the rest of them get all pissed. Here's the thing. The bullies threaten to beat up the kids if they don't. So he gives them the paper. He's like, "What? I don't want to get punched in the face. Here's why I'm defending this, okay? Because I know how bullies work. I had a bully. I don't know if I mentioned this. I had a bully when I was in middle school who would wait till most of the kids and stuff went back into the classroom. I was a little slow getting to places. My locker, I was in special ed, so my locker was right there next to the classrooms. He would, at a certain point in the day, sneak up, corner me at my locker. One day, I got smacked. And I just sort of kept backing up towards the classroom that I knew the teacher was in. Eventually, she heard what was going on and came out and dealt with him. And he never bugged me again. That's why they say, brains over brawn. Use your brain. Right? But I'm also one of those that advocate for fighting back if needed. Right? Because I hate that shit. When the school says, well, violence shouldn't be involved. And they're right. But if they hit you, you have all the right in the world to hit them back. Right? I will never, ever, ever punish my kid for hitting someone if it's in self-defense. If they hit first, then your butt is buried. But if you hit them back in self-defense, if they hit you and you hit back in self-defense, you're fine. I've seen too much of this where the bullies a kid and they fight back, and it's the kid that fights back that gets in trouble and the bully gets off scot-free. Because the principal only saw the kid fighting back and not the bully. And that's why that school system is so one-sided. They won't consider the whole situation. They just go with what they saw, and that's bullshit. So if I ever get in a situation where it's like, your son was fighting, okay, did he hit first? What? Did he hit the kid first, or did the kid hit him first? And if they're like, well, I don't know, I just saw him hitting the kid. Okay, William, did you start it, or did they start it? Did they hit you first? Were you fighting back in self-defense? Yeah, it was self-defense. I don't see a problem here. I know violence shouldn't be in schools, but you know what? A kid fighting back in self-defense is the least of your problems. All right? With all the school shootings out there, Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, I know how bullies work. I've seen so many portrayal of bullies, right? So Gunther is right to give up the paper routes, and let me tell you why. Because bullies, they're like, oh, you know, what are you gonna do? Bullies, they're gonna punch everyone, but they're gonna start with the smallest. They're gonna go with the quiet kid who doesn't say anything. I don't remember. It doesn't say. The one that doesn't speak, is it Henry? The one that does... Mickey, Freddy. Whichever one doesn't... Scooter? Whichever one doesn't speak. That's the one they will go after first. The weakest one. So, in a way... in a way, he's protecting them. But, of course, we can't see it as a positive. We have to see it as a negative. So, Allison gives him the cold shoulder for somehow she found out about this. And she blows him off because of what happened. But then the next day he gets a little sip of, when his dad tells him that he's proud of him for the paper route and everything. That's when he's like, you know what? The last straw is Mrs. Hanson. Because he goes to visit her and they're not delivering the paper. They're just throwing it. It's all over the place. And he tells her that there's a new paper boy. And she said, well, you can have the paper boy put it in the slot. He learns that the late Mr. Hanson was a co-founder of the paper. And that every year on the anniversary, Mrs. Hanson goes to the stadium to watch a baseball game. But she doesn't know she'll make it this year due to her bad knees and no one to go with. And I clocked it. I haven't seen this in years. I'm like, so he's going with her, right? He's going to blow off the concert to go with her. Right? We're gonna talk about that scene too. So, after this, he decides, you know what? Fuck it. He goes to Charlie's house and everyone's just sitting in the garage fucking around. He's like, you know what? We're gonna fight back. So here's where I have a bit of an issue. So we start the next day. By the way, his brother Andrew was also helping out. He got Andrew to help out too. So we see that them put the paper in the two butt buddies, put the papers in Chad's car, and Chad's still getting ready, so they go in the house. And I went, wait, they have to get the paper from Charlie's house, right? So why didn't they take care of those two then? I know we need the shenanigans, but here's the thing. They show the papers. You take them out then. You don't have the leader of their group. Plus there's like 5 or 6 of you, plus Andrew. Take them down, wrap them up, duct tape them, whatever. Then you only got Chad to deal with. Right? No, we gotta have the shenanigans. So, they siphon off the gas from Chad's car, which Fish does wrong. So, when you siphon off gas, you go to the hose, and you'll suck it up till you feel it coming through the thing. But he siphons it till the gas goes into his mouth, and I'm just like, no, that's not what you until you feel it coming through the hose, and then you stop. You're gonna get the fumes in your mouth, but most guy was he was dead, no. You're going somehow they're able to get every drop of gas. This line tore me. And all those who pay for gas now were going to go, what? She's like, oh, we're out of gas. That ain't right. I just put $2 in yesterday. Because $2 ain't gonna get you shit now. I just laughed. $2. 30 years. $30 ago, when $2 could fill up a tank. Or at least give enough for them to be able to do their routes. So now they're forced to ride bicycles, but not all just bike. Apparently Chad has 2 sisters, and they're 2 girly bikes for his butt buddies, as he's riding on his regular bike. And this is where we get to what kind of bugs me is that what they put him through is basically just the stuff that Gunther went through. So one guy gets tomatoes and pea soup and stuff thrown at him and dumped on him. And the other one gets chased by the dog. He's dog food, as they call him. Right? And then it ends up in Mr. Cooper's yard where the 3 of them go after them. And they're all taking... I like how there's this the one bully who got the pea soup, he gets white stuff dumped on him. And you're like, what is that? So Mr. Cooper goes, nothing like the smell of goose poop in the morning. First of all, it wouldn't be all white. You ever notice there's like black stuff in bird poop? Yeah, it wouldn't be all white. But whatever. And they use the paintballs, they fight back. They are the paper brigade. And And it ends with them saying, you want to take the paper out. They run off. And the kid, whose name I can't remember, that never said anything, just lets them have it. And they're like, you spoke. Yeah. And now it's time for the date, right? The concert. But when the limousine, because you can afford a limousine apparently, picks up Allison, it's Andrew that's in there. Andrew's going to go with her because Gunther, he's busy. So she sexually harasses the little boy. That's all I could think. She hits on him, basically, is what it is. And into telling her where Gunther is, even though he promised not to tell her. Which, why couldn't he tell her? Turns out he's taken Mrs. Hanson to the ball game and even set up a little thing to come across, for her. And then this is the one thing that pisses me off. Allison just walks in, sits down next to him, and it's like, hey, because she's a bad actress. Hey, he's like, hey, okay. It's like, this is the nicest thing we've ever seen. And then they just kiss. And I'm sitting there going, how the hell did she get in there? She had no ticket. You gotta pay to get into a baseball game. I don't know if you know that or not, but you do. Those are like local ones, I guess. If it's because we have this. I've never been to one, but we have this. There's a little baseball field down by my folks' place that has like local games. I don't know if you have to pay to get in, but I know that you have like food and stuff there. But and that's when the movie ends, with the kiss, and it's a terrible kiss. He's trying to actually kiss, and she can't do shit. He's like going in, and she's like almost backing up, like was there no other actress available? No disrespect to the woman, all right, but she terrible. It's a kids movie, sure, but I don't know. I think it's movies like this. Like, this is a good movie, don't get me wrong, but with the acting, like, you have some decent acting. Kyle Howard, Thomas Leopardi, and even Travis Wester are very good. She is the turd in the hole in this movie. Okay? But I'm still going to give this a pretty good. I really enjoyed this movie. It's been years since I'd seen it. Since I was a teenager, maybe. It's on Disney Channel? I don't know. Years since I've seen it. And it's still pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on the Paper Brigade? Look how so much you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.